Hello everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all a story about why I joined the military. Stay tuned. Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Jerry.
And Sheila.
And this is my wife Sheila. And we are here in Dominican Republic at Malecon, Este. We want to go ahead and talk to y'all a little bit about why I joined the military and the things that led me on the path to becoming a resident here in Dominican Republic.
Today my husband is going to be talking solo.
Stay tuned. All right, what's up everybody? As my wife said, I'm gonna go ahead and talk to y'all solo by myself, just to give y'all a little bit of background on why I decided to join the military. All right, as a young man living in Kansas City, growing up, it was kind of a little bit on the rougher side. I know a lot of people think that aren't familiar with Kansas City. I grew up in Kansas City, Kansas. A lot of people think ain't nothing but farmland and things like that, but you're sadly mistaken. Kansas City was a rough area to live in. I still got family there. I still pray for everybody and everybody's doing good. I got cousins, aunts, uncles, still living in Kansas City. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all why I decided to go ahead and get up out of there. Like I said, I was going down the wrong path. So I decided to go ahead and get up out of there. My sister told me when I was 19 years old, hey, come live with us. Her and her husband, where he played for the Washington Redskins in Virginia, come live with us and try to get yourself together. Because like I said, a lot of dead-end jobs. I barely made it out of high school. I did graduate, I barely made it out. So once I went to Virginia, I started training for the possibility of maybe going into the NFL. And as I was training, my brother-in-law was telling me, hey, he was helping me out a lot, got me on the right path, got me eating right, got me lifting and things like that. And so he was trying to help me get to where I need to go. I was working at the Marriott Suites at the time. He got me a job before the Marriott Suites at a mall. So I was kind of doing my thing, but none of those jobs were gonna pay the bills if I was gonna be living on my own. And I wanted to be living on my own. So I ended up tweaking my back. So I wasn't able to fulfill my dreams because I just felt like I wasn't progressing as fast as I needed to. So by the time I was 21, I decided, hey, I'm gonna join the military. And my brother-in-law, he was like, nah, don't do that. Don't join the military. I'm gonna give it a thought. So I decided to go to the recruiter station. I talked to the recruiter. I told the recruiter I want to join the military. What job do you want to do? I said, I don't know. He said, okay, let me go ahead and pop in this VHS tape and let me show you a couple different jobs. So he showed me the videotape. I started seeing some guys going through the woods or whatever. And I said, and they had guns. I said, that's what I want to do right there. Because I had never shot a gun before. And so he was like, you sure you want to do that? He said, that job is infantry. I said, yeah. I said, okay, what's wrong with that? I don't mind. I do infantry, what's wrong with that? And I was like, he was like, but you qualify for other jobs because I already took in the test and I qualified for quite a few jobs. And he said, hey, you sure you want to do that? I said, yeah, sign me up. So I went to the MEP station. I decided to go ahead and go with the infantry. So I signed up on dotted line, signed up for infantry. And I was leaving in like 2 months. Came back, told my dad, hey, I signed up for infantry. He was like, man, you crazy. I said, why would you do that? He said, hey, don't you know you're gonna be on the front line? And I was like, the front line, yeah, I know. But that's cool, that's what I wanna do. So when I decided to join the military, I said, man, I can do this. 3 hots in a cot, that's what they call it. You get 3 meals a day and you get somewhere to live. So I didn't really have to worry about living anywhere, which was my number one problem when I was living in Virginia. They was gonna take care of that for me. The problem was, I was only getting paid $800 a month, which is, we got paid twice a month. And that was just a tough situation for me. Because yes, I could eat that food, but most people didn't wanna eat the DFAT or the dining facility every day. Sometimes you want some McDonald's or some whatever. or you might want to take somebody out, your significant other out to eat or whatever, go with your boys out to eat or something. And it just wasn't possible with that kind of money we was making. So I got shipped off to Fort Benning, Georgia, and that's where I did my basic training in AIT. And the way the infantry works, or the way it worked back then, which was back in 1993, the way it worked was, you don't really, as an infantryman, you can go in you go in as a 11 X-ray. That basically just lets you know your job can either be a mortarman or an infantryman. And so by the end of our training, our basic training, they basically let you know if you were gonna be a mortarman or an infantryman, which we both infantry, but one is 11 Bravo, which they call 11 Bang Bang, the other is 11 Charlie at the time. I don't know what the digits are now, but I do know that as back then, that's what they were. So we ended up being 11 Charlie, which was mortarmans. And so after our training, they shipped us to Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. And once they shipped us to Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, that's where we did our training. And I'm gonna tell you, that was some of the toughest training that I have ever endured, because we always road marched, we always did different things training-wise, always going different places in the field, doing different things, making things happen. It was a rough situation, and that's what we did. So at the time, it was like, wow, this is not really exactly what I want to do. So I'll give you an example of some of the things that we did with our training. We would go to the field, which we call the field, basically you go to the woods at least once a month. We went to the field once a month, and basically we would stay out there for at a minimum of 5 days. So we would ruck march. Ruck march means we would march or walk with 70 to 80 pound rucks on our back, and we would march for about roughly 15 miles to our training site. And once we got there, we would set up our little hooches is what we called them. And once we set those up, it was our little personal tent, which really wasn't a tent. It was just like a poncho with some bungee cords. And so we would set up camp, and then we would eat, and then we would wake up. Or if we would even go to sleep, we would do a little training. And then after that, we would go ahead and we would do what we had to do. As a mortarman, we would basically fire rockets. And it's basically, I'll show a video of it or a photo of a tube, but you drop the rounds down, you say hang it, fire. And the rounds go up and it hits your target depending on how far away. That was my job.
Section. Hang it. Hang it. Fire.
And we would do live fires and different things like that for training purposes. So at the time, it was a little much for me, because as a young man, 21 years old, I wanted to be out in the streets. I didn't really want to be out in the woods. And I didn't realize when I joined that that's what I was going to be doing. So you can imagine the things that I had to deal with. And living in Hawaii with all the beautiful scenery, the water and everything else, it was a tough situation for me at the time. So I said, I'm not re-enlisting. I'm just gonna do my 3 years and I'm gonna get out, and that's exactly what I did. After I did my 3 years, I got out. And so once I got out I decided to go and live with my pops, to go ahead and go to school and work and try to get myself together. So I went back to Kansas City. At the time when I did that, everything was okay, but at the same time, I wasn't making no money again. And I don't know if y'all understand it, but most jobs, when you're working, you're not really making no money. And so for me, you have to make a certain type of money. And so what I did was, I said, nah, I can't do this, so I gotta make a change. And once I made that change, I decided to go ahead and move to North Carolina with my boy. And once I moved there, I started working. I was working at Sears. He was working at a movie theater and somewhere else. I don't remember exactly where. Once again, we were doing what we was doing, but things were just kind of, a little rough for us. And we were trying to make it. We was doing what we do, but it was just a tough time. And so at that point, it was like, yo, wow, what's going on here? This is a tough road, a tough way to live. And so I was like, wow, I didn't realize it once I joined the military, and I felt like while I was in the military that it was tough and it was a rough road, and man, we ain't had no money. Man, I gotta sleep in the barracks. I ain't got my own place. I was like, man, I was unhappy. But at the same time, once I got out, I didn't realize what tough was. And that's where I started living a tough life, trying to figure out life as a young adult at the age of 24, 25 years old, and not really having a direction or path of where my life was gonna go. So I'm here to say, like I said, this is my first episode of what I'm gonna talk about why I joined the military. So I'm gonna need y'all to stay tuned on the next one, because I'm gonna give y'all the next part of my life and what also led me to deciding to live the rest of my adult life in Dominican Republic. All right, everybody.
I'm back.
Hey, got my wife back with me. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about in the conclusion of this video, we wanted to go ahead and tell y'all a little bit about where we at. I know y'all see the scenery behind us.
It's beautiful.
Wow, this scenery is beautiful. Y'all just don't understand. And I've told y'all before how we feel about the water and the noise and the smell. Y'all just tell you, the smell is, I'm telling y'all, I can live in an area like off the water for the rest of my life. If I had a beachfront or I don't know if you would call it a beachfront, something. If we had something to where we could just wake up and we could smell this every day, that would be the life.
Oh my God.
That would be the life. All right, so in conclusion, I gave y'all part one of what my military experience, and y'all need to stay tuned for the next one. All right? Keep it easy, keep it breezy, and we out.
Bye.
Bye.